Hey guys, I am here again back to answer more of your questions for the Q&A that I was doing. So this is going to be part 2 and I'm just going to move right along with the first question, which comes from Eddie the Not So Great, who asks if I would ever play a game with my subscribers, maybe during a stream. I probably wouldn't do a series that I would upload to YouTube with my subscribers just because I'm very picky, but I would definitely like to play games with you guys. In the past and in the present, I don't tend to add people I don't know to anything personal of mine. I kind of try and keep the personal gaming I do with my friends and by myself separate from the gaming I do with the general public. So I don't usually add people or play games with people on consoles like Xbox or PlayStation. But when I got a Steam account and I started doing a lot more streams and I started interacting with people, I kind of thought to myself that it would be a good idea to open up my Steam. I have the capability to add something crazy like 600 people, so I can add a lot of people, and that kind of opens up the possibility of playing games in the future. So I kind of had that in mind when I had opened up my Steam. Then that way I could add people, and then if they came to a stream and I wanted to play games with them, they were already on my friends list. I could just invite them from my friends list and I could host a game and we could play. Um, I'm not. I don't know how to word this properly. I don't want to say I'm not popular enough where people want to play with me, but generally, because people live in all different kinds of time zones and things like that, it is hard to get enough people together to play something. So I haven't had the opportunity to do so yet, but I have thought of it and I've kind of started to formulate that and put that together, and that probably would be during a stream as well. So yeah, definitely something I'd like to do in the future, something that has the capability to have more than 4 people, something like Left 4 Dead, for example, so then I can play with as many people as possible. And I think it would be a lot of fun. So hopefully in the future at some point I can get that together. Next question comes from Jacob Policio. I hope that's how you pronounce that. Probably not. Who asks me what my all-time favorite movie is. Fight Club. And the first rule of Fight Club is that you don't talk about Fight Club. Jay Cherie asks if I have played the Walking Dead game, and if so, would I do a Let's Play? And they also ask, what was it like for me growing up? Did I live in a country area or a city? Yes, I've played The Walking Dead. I've played season 1, and I would like to do a Let's Play of it. At this point, I think I've mentioned it in multiple channel updates actually, that I do have plans, and it is confirmed that at one point I would really like to do The Walking Dead season 1, and I would also like to do season 2 blind. I haven't played season 2, and I'd really like to, but I've been holding off because I want to kind of do that on YouTube. I want that to be a YouTube special. Start with season 1 with something I know, something I've played, get that over and done with, and then jump right into the second one not knowing what I'm doing. I think that that will be fun, and it's the kind of game that you can play blind, and it's not entirely cringeworthy to watch, if you know what I mean. The reason I haven't done a Let's Play of it is just because I feel I need to try and space things out a little bit. I've been playing lots of Resident Evil, and I know that Resident Evil and The Walking Dead are 2 different zombie games, but they're still zombie games, and I don't want people to get the impression that the channel has become just a survival horror zombie channel. So once I've kind of fleshed things out and I've done some other projects to kind of space everything out, I would definitely like to do The Walking Dead. And what was it like for me growing up? And did I live in a country area or a city? I grew up in a extremely rural country-like setting. The town I grew up in had 3,000 people. A very, very small community where everybody knows everybody. It was nice when I was younger. Not my entire family, but a lot of my family lives there. My dad, my grandparents, a lot of my aunts and uncles and cousins. It was very nice to kind of have the majority of my family all in one place. Had a lot of very, very happy memories with them. My life growing up, as opposed to my life kind of when I was a teenager up until now, is like a total 360 flip. When I was a kid, there wasn't really much to do in a town that small. We had no movie theater. It went out of business when I was really young. Swimming pool was only reserved for swimming lessons. You couldn't just go to the pool if you wanted to. We had no McDonald's, no Starbucks. There wasn't really anything to do for fun. The same things that you would have like in a city, for example. So I spent a lot of time outside. My family is very outdoorsy, especially my dad. So I was out riding my bike a lot, climbing trees. I was out with friends, jumping on the trampoline, swimming. I mean, I was just outside all the time as a kid. And I did a lot of family activities with my family. We went fishing, camping, hunting, all of those different things. And then as I got older, things changed. I became a bit more reclusive. I stayed inside a lot more, started reading books and writing and playing video games, and I kind of got away from that outdoorsy kind of life. Started to kind of feel a bit trapped in a small community. I really wanted to move to the city, and I wanted to kind of see and do bigger and better things. Looking back on it now, I am glad that I grew up in the country setting because it gives me a really good appreciation for both. I moved to the city that I live now when I was about 13 years old, I guess. So the first half of my life was rural country living, and then the other half of my life has been big city living. So it is kind of nice that I had the luxury of both. So hopefully that answers your question. And I see here that Jay Cherie asked one final question in a separate comment, and that is to talk about my piercings or tattoos, if I have any. Oh boy, okay. Body modification is a great interest of mine. I have always been interested in body modification. I really like to talk about it. I have a great deal of piercings. I don't usually meet people with as many as I have, so I don't ever get a chance to talk about it, so I'm really glad you asked this question. I don't have any tattoos, so I can't talk about that. The preview window that I'm looking in right now for this video is really, really small, so I hope that I can sufficiently talk about / show you my piercings and do a good job kind of going over it. Currently, I have 16 different holes in my body. The most piercings I've had at one point is 20, but unfortunately I've had to take a few piercings out. Just didn't work out, wasn't meant to be. So I've brought the jewelry for the piercings I used to have. I'll go over that a little bit, but first I'll talk about what I currently have pierced. I have 10 piercings in my ears. I have 3 in my face. I've got 1 piercing that is 2 holes in my neck, and I have my belly button pierced. So on the one side of my head, I have my bottom holes, which are stretched, and then I've got 2 above it, which is on both sides, by the way. Both sides kind of match. And then I got this piercing on this part of my ear here, which you can see, which is called a tragus on both sides of my ear. I got those pierced at the exact same time. So the bottom half of my ears are quite symmetrical. And if I take my bottom holes out, you may or may not be able to see. You can see clean through to the other side. My holes are a size 8, I do believe. I've stretched them enough so that I can wear regular jewelry, and it looks normal, but most of the time I just wear the bigger jewelry of my size. I don't have any other stretched holes. All my other holes are regular sized. Sounds dirty. The other ear, we already went over those ones. I have my cartilage done. I don't wear this one very often, but I put it in for the sake of the video. And then on the inner ear, which you guys may or may not be able to see there, I have what is called a rook piercing. And then, of course, when you see my face, you see the piercings on my face. So I have both sides of my nose done, and I have my lip done. And then, like I said, I have my belly button done, which I'm not going to show you. You're just going to have to take my word for it. And I have a surface piercing on the back of my neck, which is hard to show off, unfortunately. But I did bring the jewelry that I have in it to show you what it looks like if you're interested. So this is the jewelry that I wear in that piercing. The bar sits underneath my skin. You can't see it. And connected to the bar are the 2 holes that you can see. And the holes are actually what's visible. That's what you can see sticking out on my skin. So it kind of looks like I have like 2 eyeballs on the back of my neck. It's a really nice piercing. I really quite like it, even though I can't see it. This piece of jewelry came from my second surface piercing that I got, which unfortunately didn't work out. It was one of the piercings I had to take out, and it sat right above my belly button. So this came out of my stomach. And my second piercing I had to take out that I no longer have is something called an industrial piercing. This is what the jewelry for it looks like. It's kind of the same as this one, except it's not curved. And the bar is visible. So I had this sitting in this ear up here. And what it is it's 2 holes, and the bar sits across the top of your ear. I'll try and get this sitting in a good place on camera. It's kind of hard to do, but it would kind of look something like that. It's a real shame I had to take this out. I actually had it pierced twice. Twice I had to take it out. It was not meant to be. I think it's a very aesthetically pleasing, very beautiful piercing, but unfortunately things don't always work out. However, for the most part, I'm very fortunate. I have a very good body in terms of healing. I take very good care of my piercings, and I hope that I can get more of them in the future. At this point, I'm kind of running out of places to put them. I have a lot of options, obviously. There's a lot that I don't have done, but there are a lot of things I don't want done, things that are just too painful, things that I just don't think would suit me, or piercings that I just don't want in general. So I would like to get a couple of more, but I probably won't go completely overboard. And in terms of tattoos, I don't know about that yet, because I haven't figured out what I wanted to have tattooed on my skin for the rest of my life. So hopefully that wasn't too gross for any of you who maybe aren't into piercings. I should have maybe gave you a warning before I started. I'm very sorry about that. But yeah, that's basically the rundown of all of that. And that puts me out of time for this video, so I will continue on answering more questions in the next video. So I'll see you guys then.